What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update. Things seem to be happening, but is it a little too late? I don't know. But 3 days left of the window. Friday, the 28th of January. Still no one in, no one out. But we've got some news to bring to you, and let's start off with Sofyan Amrabat, as I was about to say Cristiano Ronaldo, but Fabrizio Romano says Tottenham know they have to be fast for Sofyan Amrabat now. Fiorentina have been approached by other clubs while they wait for Spurs to submit loans plus a buy option proposal. Tottenham are working to offload Ndombele and or Dele Alli in order to sign a new midfielder. So nothing really has changed there. Apparently, we've had the Amrabat deal there ready just to push the button.
Exactly. There's always a bloody green button we never press. Yeah, I mean, again, if we miss out on him, this is one I'm not going to be that annoyed if we miss out on him. But I think for me, it's just a classic case of Tottenham not being decisive. They don't know exactly what they want, do they?
Yeah, exactly.
But I guess you can argue that's just Paratici, how he negotiates as well. He likes to have a lot, as you say, many spinning plates, and then he finally picks one he really wants. But time's running out, and he has to pick one plate soon.
You know what? I didn't want Amrabat at all, but now they're saying other clubs are interested.
Oh, now I want him.
Get him in, man. Get him in.
Look, obviously, I'd rather other targets if we can get them in, but if I'd rather him than no one.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So that's Sofyan Amrabat. We'll have to see how that one plays out. Let's move on, because this is a news story for you guys, as Fabrizio Romano brought us an exclusive on Giovanni Lo Celso, and he says Lyon are interested in signing Giovanni Lo Celso from Tottenham to replace Bruno Guimaraes, who is set to join Newcastle. He's considered one of their candidates in the list. Tottenham want full salary paid until June, plus a loan fee for Gio.
Of course we do. Why don't we just bid for Gio plus money for Bruno and get him in? Now, I don't understand why we're letting Newcastle take him. I know they're offering quite a bit of money, but you know, he's a quality player. I reckon it's another one where he's probably going to play really well for Newcastle, and we're wondering why the hell did we not go in for him. That's the case. But in terms of Gio, look, there's been a lot of stories about him Conte wanting him out, and him wanting to leave, and so it's no surprise that things seems to be happening there. It's been quiet for a couple of days with the whole Sevilla news. That's gone quiet, but Lyon could be a decent move for him. I'm sure he'll play a lot of minutes there, and whether he wants to move for France long term will remain to be seen, but short term it could be good for him.
It's funny because Lo Celso played for PSG before us. I know not directly before us. He played for PSG and came to us, and we're going to give him to Lyon. And Ndombele is the complete opposite way around. He came from Lyon, then came to us, and now he's going to go to PSG.
It's a whole merry-go-round.
Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, that's the situation with Giovanni Lo Celso. We also brought you the news not long ago that Tottenham are interested in signing Dejan Kulusevski, and there's been a couple of updates here. First of all, we'll start with the one from Fabrizio Romano. He says Tottenham and Juventus are in direct contact. Spurs have asked about Dejan Kulusevski. Juventus want an obligation to buy clause included to let him go. Talks are on at this point, and Tottenham, I'll read that one out a bit later, but Damasio says that there's an offer for a loan with an obligation to buy on the table for Tottenham for Kulusevski. Rudy Galletti says that Arsenal are monitoring the Spurs and Kulusevski's situation with interest. AC Milan are also on the sidelines, and Longari says that Arsenal are in the background with Spurs and are looking at the Spurs and Kulusevski deal. So, I mean, when you're looking at Spurs, Arsenal, AC Milan, with Conte and Paratici, you'd probably say we're the most viable option for him.
Yeah, you'd think so. I think we're probably most in need of him as well, because Arsenal have... with us and who?
Milan, AC Milan.
AC Milan also in for him.
Well, they're monitoring the situation, apparently.
You'd think that it could be good for him to move country and under a sporting director who knows him well, and he could get a lot of opportunities at Tottenham. But yeah, I don't know what the situation is in terms of need for him at AC Milan, to be honest. I thought with Arsenal, you said something about Arsenal. I wouldn't say they need him. They need a striker. I wouldn't say they need him. They got like Martinelli and Saka and these players. So I don't think they'd be desperate for him. Pepe. So I don't think I'd be desperate for him. But we definitely would need a versatile forward a bit more. So hopefully we can get it over the line. And I'm quite excited about the prospect of him coming in. He's still young. He's got a very high ceiling. He had a very good year with Parma before going to Juventus. He's shown flashes at Juventus, but hasn't really nailed down a starting spot. But I think this is a player with a lot of potential, and he's a good quality player, I think.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting that obviously Paratici did sign him at Juventus, but at the time when he signed him at Juventus, it was also reported that Conte wanted him at Inter. And they had a little bit of a battle between Inter and Juventus to get his signature, and obviously Juventus won it. So it's a player that Conte and Paratici know very well.
It's interesting because there's a quote from Kulusevski on Conte, apparently, as kind of doing the rounds now, saying that he chose Juve because at Inter, the system under Conte is very different, and he demands different things, so I chose Juve instead. Which is interesting if that's true that he said that.
Yeah, that is interesting.
But I don't know how. I mean, that's what circling around. But hopefully he's one where we can get. If we can get him through the door, I think we've got a player who can develop into a serious talent.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. That's for sure. Let's move on to the last story of the update. And this is on Rodrigo Bentancur of Juventus. And first of all, Romano says that Tottenham have also asked Juventus about Bentancur on loan, but Juventus are not accepting. DiMarzio says that Tottenham are rivaling Aston Villa with interest in Juventus midfielder Rodrigo Bentancur. Villa have already had a £20 million bid rejected. So what do you make out of that?
Yeah, I've always, whenever I haven't seen much of him, but when I have seen him, I think he looks decent, Bentancur. I think he's been solid at Juventus. I remember seeing him in the World Cup for Uruguay, and I was actually quite impressed with him. He was quite young back then. Must have been like 2019, I guess. Must have been like 19 years of age when he went to the World Cup. But in terms of the profile play, he's again similar to what we have now. He's decent passing ability. He's very solid defensively, so he's one of those players that Conte can depend on. But he doesn't have maybe that X factor in the final third that maybe we're looking for in terms of that. You know, he's not a kind of like I wouldn't say he's like as good on the ball as someone like a Ruben Neves or Jorginho or someone like that. But he's got decent on the ball ability. But I think his main attributes, is being dependable off the ball. So I guess I would be more excited about him than Amrabat. But it'd be interesting to see if he can develop into someone who's a major starter or he's competing with Skip and Højbjerg for a place.
At 24 years of age, I mean, he has played quite a bit of football over the last couple of years for Juventus. I think, like you say, I think I would much prefer him than Amrabat. I really would. I think he's much, much better player. Amrabat can't even get into the Fiorentina side, and this guy pretty much starts the majority of games for Juventus.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that says it all, really.
Yeah, and I think he would be a dependable player for Conte. He's someone who he wouldn't have any, in terms of comparing him to Ndombele and Celso, putting him in centre mid, he'd be much more confident in doing that. And I think he could do, as people like to say about Conte, he likes players who can just listen to instructions and follow them very precisely and be decent technical passers. And Bentancur would probably fill that description in terms of what he can do. So I'm not excited about it, but I think I think he would be a solid signing if we could beat Villa to him.
And just back on the Gio Lo Celso thing, Paul O'Keefe has replied to Romano, and he goes, "Am I being really dumb here? But why can't they just take Bruno and hijack it?" And that's just what you were saying as well.
Yeah.
Like, if they're selling a top player and we're trying to get rid of a top player to him, surely there's a deal to be done there.
You would think so. I would be massive because Bruno, he's the one who's very good on the ball and he's decent defensively as well. So he's one I think he's much more needed in the squad. I know it would be an expensive deal, but why not splash out a bit on him if we were going to go spend 50 million on Diaz? Why not spend 45 million on him?
What's the max you think we're getting for Lo Celso if it is a straight sale? I know it's not. What's reported?
25.
25, right? And they're selling Bruno for what, 30?
They're selling him for no more now. It's because he went up. It's about 45 or something. 42
euros though.
45. I don't know. Yeah, 45 million euros plus bonuses or something.
Okay, so why don't we just give him £15 million and Lo Celso and deal done?
Because it's more expensive than that. I think it'll probably have to be 20 million plus Lo Celso.
20 million. Well, even so, fine, 20 million, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a deal to be done. That's a really good deal for us.
Yeah, then obviously we're competing with Newcastle for wages, but surely he would much rather come to us than Newcastle right now.
So, wouldn't you?
You'd hope so, but we don't have that foresight apparently.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, anyway, that is your Tottenham update for today. The clock is ticking. We will bring you news as and when anything happens within Spurs and the transfer window. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.